Hey everybody, it's me, Tay. Obviously, you're already on my channel, so obviously you know who this is. If you haven't been here before, go ahead and subscribe, become a sweetheart, and also like this video if you want to see more content like this. So currently I am vlogging, telling stories. Yeah, a video blog, but mostly telling stories because if I vlogged my daily life, it'd be quite boring, and also my husband doesn't like being on camera, so there's that. If I had a more exciting life, or if I did something more exciting, I would video it for y'all guys. Okay, so this story is actually going to be a funny one. It is about the time I was on Jerry Springer. Yes, you heard me correct. I said Jerry Springer. And not as one of those audience people. No, I was a guest on the show. Yeah. So here's the story. Let's see, I was 21. Yeah. So 3 years ago, a little more than 3 years ago, I get a call from an ex of mine saying that he wanted me and one of his friends to go on Jerry Springer. I said no. And then he told me about all the benefits. They would take me out there, fly me out there to and back, and pay for my hotel, pay for all my food, and all the extra stuff and junk. I wouldn't have to pay for nothing. And they pay you in lost wages. I said, all right. But I won't be going with your friend and you. I'll take Chris, because at the time, I was married. He said, all right. So I had to get my husband on board with this. Well, at the time, we were both, in and out of employment. We didn't have really a steady job. We were employed under my father. So luckily, we were able to take that time off to go, and it was only 2 days. So, with that being said, we got paid lost wages, mostly. And I'll get more into that later. So I talked to my husband, Chris, and he's at first he said no too. And I'm like, well, come on, we need all the extra money we can get. And they fly us out there. It'll be a nice little vacation. They pay for everything, vacation, and we're only going to be there for overnight. And I'm like, I've been chatting up my ex, just talking to him. Nothing I show my husband all of the conversations that I've ever had with anybody. I don't keep anything secret from him. And it was just nice, friendly conversation with my ex, who, I'm not going to name his actual name, but let's call him, I don't know, Dudley. Okay, Dudley. I've never dated anybody named Dudley, so that's safe. So, okay, so Dudley was convince him, because I'm sure Dudley needed the money too, Well, I ended up convincing my husband, and we have phone interviews with all the producers and everything, who go over, backstories, everybody's backstory and everything. But since Dudley was the one inviting us out, he had the main interest. So he was telling the producers one thing that he was inviting us out there for. And then the producers would ask us multiple different things. For me, they would ask me, how long ago me and Dudley dated, how long we dated, what kind of relationship was it like, if I ever saw myself leaving my husband for him, which I said no. The entire time I said no. And then they gave me different scenarios of what could happen on the show, and asked me how I would react. But none of it was certain that would happen. And then they did the same with my husband, and I'm assuming the same with Dudley. So, we get there, we took the flight, and we get there, and then their chauffeur picks us up, And we go straight to the studio. And they were all really, really nice for, being up in that area. It was, Hartford, Connecticut, so the college town right there. And so we go and we do the interview, the face-to-face interview with the producer. They talked to me separately. They talked to my husband separately. They talked to both of us together. And at the time, Dudley was not there. We wouldn't see Dudley until the actual taping of the show. They wanted us to stay separately the whole time to keep whatever the show was really about, separate. What me and my husband were being told was that Dudley wanted to confess something to me. I had no idea what. So, at the time. So, we, go through that. They, again, talk to us about the various scenarios of what's going to happen. They ask me, the same questions. And then they ask my husband, because we're 10 years, there's a 10-year difference. They ask him if the age has ever been, a problem, or if I did run off, or, with Dudley, what would he do, or blah, 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 blah. So all these crazy different, scenario stories. And then right after that, they fed us some lunch when we got there because it was a long flight. So, we go from there straight to wardrobe, and they fit us in so many different clothes. You don't wear your own clothes. They have outfits for you to wear that have been approved and everything because you're going to be on TV. So I try on so many different dresses, and then I find one that I like. And they have to take pictures of all the ones that they like you in and you like. And then they send it to the producer, and the producer has to okay it. So, I get done with that, and my husband gets done with his. His was a little faster, because they just put him in a shirt, and he got to wear his own pants and everything. So after that, we leave, we go to our hotel, and then we're given a choice of places to go, and then they give you gift cards to go to those places. Well, we picked a nice, Asian fusion restaurant and got sushi and excellent, Asian fusion salads and dessert, and it was so good. And to my surprise, they actually had sweet tea, because here in the South, sweet tea is a staple, and up north, it is not. It's just iced tea with no sugar. So, we finished there. Because we were only there one night, and they gave us $100 worth of gift cards for that place, and we spent only $60 for 2 desserts, 3 things of sushi, 2 salads. We were stuffed by the end of it. We ended up giving our waiter a $40 tip. He was ha, and wanted pictures with us, because when we go in, they have something either a little hole punch in it, because they don't want you buying alcohol with some of the gift cards, especially if you're underage or whatever, but they do it to all of it. So they know when the people from Jerry Springer come up, because, they're the ones who bought them, punch the hole, say, no, you can't buy this, no, you can't buy that, whatever. So the waiter took his picture with us, and, we're going to know people who are on Jerry Springer, yada, yada, yada. Okay. So, fast forward, we get to the hotel, we, sleep, next day comes around, and we're supposed to take all of our stuff that we brought to the studio, because right after you leave to get on a plane, so fast. We go, and it's an all-day thing, because there's 3 tapings that they do in a day. 3. So that means and how they usually have 3 storylines per each taping or show. So there was like 9 groups to tape there. So we get there and we get sent to our dressing rooms, which is filled with like more than just you. It's a bunch of people in there. So girls, and then guys, and then there's one with co-ed, and they actually have them labeled. So bad girls, bad guys, and usually the good ones would be like in the same room. So good guys, good girls, same room. Unless they have the same storyline, then they'll move. So they put me in what they called the bad girls room. And I'm like, this makes no sense. I don't even know, what's going on here. So I go and they bring me my dress, and this dress is torn already. So I'm like, and I didn't like it on me. It didn't look flattering, like at all. So I asked for another dress, and they brought me another dress, and it actually, looked decent on me. So I'm like, yay. And I got to wear my own shoes, and I didn't have to take them off. They were my cowgirl boots. At the time, I had short hair, and yeah, they wanted to upplay my countryness. So, and mind you, I haven't seen Dudley in like 3-4 years at that time. So, waiting all day. I get into my wardrobe. I'm nervous. I'm just sitting around talking to like the other girls in the room. And we didn't have any of our cell phones on us because you can't, you really can't, take pictures while you're in there. We had to sign contracts, all that business. So, then some of their PAs, producers' assistants, come by, and when it gets closer to your time to tape, and then they go through a script for you. So you don't have to go by the script. They just tell you different scenarios that are going to happen. They ask for your response, and they try to keep you on key or on topic with certain things. They don't want you going off topic or talking about crazy stuff or whatever. And you can't really curse. People curse on there, but they don't like it for you to. And then you also have to sign a contract saying that they're not liable for anything if you get hurt, if you fight. They don't condone fighting, but they want the show to look good. Those are their exact words. They don't want you to fight, but they want the show to look good and convincing. Notice how I'm saying convincing. Keep that in mind. So, after that, I go into hair and makeup. They normally curl girls' hairs. I don't know why. I guess it makes them look more girly. But for me, they just put I had like short hair. So they put a bump on my head and kind of like Jersey shorted up a little bit. Or even Texas, because, I've got a little bit of a Texas accent, especially when I'm mad. So they try to play that up. And still, they would not tell me what what Dudley was going to say. He just different scenarios of what he could say. And don't mind that little slip up there. It's not like he's going to see this for the next 5 years. So, okay, going back to the story. I'm the one who's introducing the segment. Sitting there talking to Jerry, because when he introduces who's coming up, and then there's someone sitting there talking to him about what's going on. That was me. I got to do that. That was that cool. And Jerry is actually really awesome. He's a cool guy. So, excuse me. So I get out there. I'm sitting in my chair in the beginning, and he comes to introduce the segment. He's like, Taylor's here. I'm wondering why an ex-boyfriend of hers is suddenly back in your life. Taylor, what's going on? Now I was like, hi, Jerry, da 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 da, telling him like that me and my ex had dated on and off for 7 years, and that he was a really big ex, blah, 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 and that the reason we had broke up in the first place was because he had cheated on me, and he got the girl pregnant, twice, and all that jazz, and we just grew apart, whatever. And then I say that, but he has invited me out here. I don't know why. I guess I'm here to find out. And then they invite him out, and he comes out with his bouquet of 3 dozen roses, hands them to me. I'm like, and he looks completely different. And I'm not going to lie, I look a little different too. When I knew him, I was still, full figured, but I was fuller figured at that point in time because of all the medications I have been on. So I hug him all weird, doing that weird pat thing and say, oh, thanks. And he asked me to sit down. I'm like, okay. So I sit down. He kneels down on one knee, pulls out this ring and says, Taylor, I love you. I've loved you for a long time. You were always it for me. Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, no. And he's like, well, why not? And I'm like, because I'm already married. Now, see, up until this point, the producer said, do not mention you are married until he comes out. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I say, because I'm already married and you know this. And the crowd goes wild, like, oh my God, what the crap? Okay, fast forward. He's like, I don't care. That don't matter. And I'm like, yes, it does. I'm not going to run away with you because you just up and a sudden think you have feelings for me when I'm already married. So I'm like, you've cheated on me. You're still technically married and you live so far away from me. I'm not going to up and leave my really good life to be with you. That's not happening. And he's like, why not? I can do so good for you. Da, 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 da. I'm like, no, I can't, do all that. No, I don't want to do all that. I love my husband. Jerry says, come on, stand up, dude. She said no. She's not going to say yes. It's not going to change. I mean, what makes you think you could say or ask her to marry you? Because I love her, Jerry. And he's like, yeah, I can see that. You must have been driving yourself crazy. Pull your hair out. At this point in time, when I met him, which was when I was 11, by the way, 10, he had a full dark head of hair, blue eyes, all that. Now he's bald. Fully bald. I don't like bald men. They creep me out. I'm sorry, they just do. So, he makes some comment about him pulling his hair out or something. Jerry did. To Derek or Dudley. Slip up again. Oops. So, Jerry invites my husband out. And my husband comes up, makes out with me, takes the roses out of my arm, because I still have the roses in my arm, throws them on the ground, stomps on them, and Derek's like, what? You think that's going to offend me? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, because they're trash just like you. Da, 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 da. And, they start fighting. My husband gets in sergeant mode because he's ex-military. He's like, what makes you think you come out here and propose to my wife? She's my wife. That woman's mine. I love her. I take care of her. I do everything for her. What do you do? Nothing. And he's like, I can do so good for her. I can do better than you. And that's when I made the comment, you live in a hotel room. Now, at the time, I, was in my own apartment with my husband, yada, 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 so on and so forth. I said, you live in a hotel room with your dad. You can't even take care of yourself. What makes you think you can take care of me? I'm sick. I'm all, I've got all these problems with me. You don't know how to deal with that. And then, Chris starts talking over me, my husband, and then Dudley's like, shut up, man, let the woman talk. And then Chris, my husband, gets so upset, so irate, and says, what the F did you say to me? They don't want you to cuss, but they'll bleep it out. Because people get heated, and spur of the moment things. So, they start fighting again. And so, anyways, after that, all went down. Jerry asked me, you want to be with him? No. And then, Jerry told Dudley, like, dude, just let it go, man. It's not happening for you. She loves her husband. And then he's like, well, I had to try. And then Jerry's like, because you love her, right? And he's like, yeah. And then in that, they rush us to the back. We still couldn't really talk to each other afterwards, like, about what happened or anything. We just had to be on for the show and then off. We didn't even get to see him, Dudley, before the show taping took place. So we rushed to the back. We're sent to, me and Chris are sent to a separate room from Dudley and with some other people. Then we have to wait for the segment where the audience got to roast or ask questions to the guests. So we get sent out there. We're sitting on stage with all the other people that were in our show. And lucky enough for us, because I knew I would get some weird comments from people because I was wearing my cowgirl boots, and by the time I came out there, someone had already said, yeehaw. So I can only imagine. But some trickster jumped into the producing van, the one that off campus, but still like actively tapes the shows, and pulled the plug. So they had lost the ability to tape anymore, but they still had our segment. So that got to like get skipped. And then afterwards, they rushed me and Chris to the limo, and we each had a bag of goodie bag. We got a Jerry Springer t-shirt. Mine says security on it, and then an autographed photo of Jerry Springer, Jerry beads, and a few other things, plus a Visa gift card with the money they paid us. And then we were rushed to the airport and sent home. That was it. And then we had to wait. Let's see. We taped in May. Yeah, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. Wait, I don't know. May, June, July, August, September. 4 months before our episode aired. And it was hilarious, honestly. I laughed through the entire, thing because it was like, whatever. But to this day, like, I kept in contact with Dudley for a little bit, and then I didn't. And then after that, I think it was a couple of years later, I heard from him again. And, we were both in the same state at that point in time. He was pulling the same crap, and then he ended up hooking up with somebody who was a minor, got caught, and now he's in prison. So, long story short, I made the right decision, and I had fun doing it. It was a fun experience, and at the time, we needed the money, so, no harm, no foul. I just got, a little 15 minutes, and yeah, so that's my fun little story. I have a ton more of, meeting certain people on like movie sets or news crew people, or I've met Shane Dawson. I can tell you about that experience. And also, like I said, my childhood, which is a lot crazier than the Jerry Springer Show. So, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you got any weird comments, please leave them down below, and don't be mean. Also subscribe, become a sweetheart, and I will see y'all later. Stay beautiful just the way you are. Or you're beautiful just the way you are. Don't let anybody tell you differently. I don't know why I tried to change that. I don't know. Anyways, bye.